All right, guys, we're back. We're doing some French testing today. We're not in France. We're actually in Victoria, and it's cold. But we're testing the Sherco SEF 500 Factory. Now, this bike is, pretty much a desert king. This is the kind of bike you want to ride in fast, open terrain. So we're going to do a bit of that today. But what we're going to be paying most attention to is the bung. Sherco for us have left the bung in because they've told us when you ride this bike with the bung in, it's a completely different bike to when you ride it with the bung out. So we're going to have a bit of fun with bung in, bung out. And to do that with me today, I've got Jeff Briggs. Jeff Briggs is one of our main testers. Briggs, he's done Fink, he's done everything. So a bike like the 500 is probably going to be right up his alley. And we're going to smash out a whole bunch of trails and come back to you on what we thought. Before we do though, Briggsy, when I told you we're going to go down to Victoria and test the Sherco 500 Factory, what were your first, what got you most excited about this bike?
Just seeing how it tracks through the bush. Like, I like a nice smooth power, and I feel like the 500s are always relatively smooth, so it'll be interesting to see how the motor is on this thing, and knowing that they got the KYB, that they're going to handle good, and it'd be good to get out there. The
450 Sherco won our 450 Enduro shootout earlier this year, and the 500 and the 450s on every brand are kind of similar. So I'm the same as Briggsy. I want to see how this thing actually goes in the bush as well. So we're going to do a bit of that. Stay with us. We're going to go out and do some testing. We'll come back to you and let you know what we thought. Okay guys, we're done now testing the 2026 Sherco 500 SEF Factory. What a bike. This is certainly, it's a lot of motor, especially when you take the Baffle out. That was the point of today. We wanted to ride it with the Baffle in and with the Baffle out. And personally, as a clubman level rider who likes to trail ride, the Baffle out difference is actually like when you open the throttle up, that's when you notice it the most. I felt like it got quite aggressive as soon as you opened the throttle. We were just chatting before and someone else asked me which would you prefer to have. And I said, probably the Baffle in. And then they said, well, what about for the first 5 minutes? I said, with the Baffle out for the first 5 minutes, but then I'd like to put it back in so I can survive all day without killing myself. So I found the Baffle made a huge difference on this bike because the motor is a friggin' peach. It lugs. We were climbing hills before that we went up on a 302 stroke, and we found we could actually run tall gears, keep low revs, and lug it like a 2-stroke without it stalling. But yeah, you take that Baffle out and it just turns into a friggin' race weapon. But Briggsy, you're a racer, not me. You surely would have liked it with the bung out?
No, I thought I would have, but it actually made it a touch too aggressive for me. I really like the tractability of it with it in, that it just grips and drives forward. With it out, it really feels like it lights the rear up, and it's good. I'd prefer that on a motocross track.
Yeah.
At bush, I really think I'd rather Baffle in.
Yeah. So the Baffle in just makes it a little bit more linear. It's funny. It's not you don't even touch the mapping, you'll notice the difference. You don't have to do anything else, just remove a Baffle will make that much of a change. If you're a fire road bandit, or if you're out west and you've got a lot of more open terrain and maybe a bit more sand, Baffle out will make a difference on this bike. The motor as a whole, what did you think of the motor?
Really good. Yeah, strong motor all the way through. I really like that you can ride it up a gear and it just drives perfectly. But then it has that ability to stay low in the torque and climb up hills really well and keeping traction. So this one surprised me. This was a good bike. Yeah.
You can trail ride this bike, the motor, that is. You can kind of run tall gears and lug through without getting into trouble, and you can get on a fire road and kind of unload it a bit. There were never any moments, because it's a 500, that scared you?
No, not at all. No, I think this bike caters to everyone because it is so smooth and usable, and that ability to ride up a gear. I know why people go 500 now. I've never sort of been a fan, but after riding the more linear ones, I really do like them. I do think you might not be as nimble in some really tight stuff, but it's not to the point where it'd deter me from buying one.
Yeah.
For sure, yeah.
And even the mapping modes, every time I hopped on it after you'd hopped on it, you had it in the friggin' race map, and I'd be like, come on, I've got a ride all day, I'm not going to have it in the race map, so I'd flick it across to the softer map, which you liked the fast map on this bike?
I like the fast map with the Baffle in,
Yeah.
With the Baffle out, it was more ready for motocross, in my opinion.
Okay.
Like, I would have taken it straight to a motocross track and had a ball on it. But yeah, in the bush, I like that just smooth, linear, tractable power where you can just, you're going faster than it feels like, but it really works well. It doesn't light up, it doesn't kick out, it's just predictable.
Now, one thing I did notice is I thought the brakes were really good. There's more inertia, there's just more happening. I found just coming into corners compared to riding like the 300 4-stroke, it just takes a little bit more to stop. I overshot a few corners just because it just wants to roll through everything. How did you find coming into corners on a big bike?
Yeah, you definitely notice the extra inertia, but this thing handles everything really, really well. You just need to use your technique a little bit more, get that bum back, and you can brake pretty hard still, and I really found the brakes pretty decent. So.
Yeah. Don't think it's like getting on a 1200cc adventure bike in terms of stopping. No, it's not that different. But let's talk about suspension then. KYB gear in this factory version, it is their up-spec stuff. I'm 100 kilos all my gear on, and the suspension suits my weight perfectly. I love how it's firm. It's firmer than other branded suspension on other enduro bikes, and I think I like that. Some people might find if you're maybe not as fit or you don't ride enough, that because it's just that little bit firmer, you might get a bit more arm pump, or it might feel like it beats you up a little bit more. I didn't find that. I thought it was pretty compliant, and I like that it's firm.
Yeah, I'm a massive fan of KYB. I really think when they get a good setting in them, they're hard to beat, and this setting's decent. It held up really well today. It did everything nice, predictable. Even when you start charging, it's still every bit as good as what it is just trail riding. So I really enjoyed it. I was saying to Matt before, like, I don't see many of these at home in the bush, and I don't understand why, because they are a really decent bike, and I feel value for money, they should be looked at more, definitely. And
the value for money is a big thing, because you get KYB, top end KYB gear, you get a 500 4-stroke, you get a whole bunch of other bits and pieces that are pretty fancy. Acro pipe on it. I mean, the pipe alone's $1,500 bucks.
2100.
2100, yeah. Like a whole system is not cheap. Even the fancy gripper seat, you know. So, I mean, speaking of the seat too, one thing I did notice, every time we hop on brand new bikes, the seats are always quite firm. And as a guy who's like, okay, you're going to ride this for 3 days, you'd hope the seat will soften up over time. It feels like there's plenty of padding in it. You can't feel any frame rails, but they are firm to get on for the first time. I also like the translucent fuel tank.
Yep.
You can see where fuel is at. If you're riding for 2 or 3 days,
the other brands, but really good thing.
Got to have a translucent tank. I like the fact that the fuel cap doesn't have a press button that you got to turn. You can just turn the thing and get your fuel in. So there's, and you know what, actually, we didn't ever touch, I didn't go anywhere clicker-wise on the suspension.
No, nothing. And it's easy for me, I'm not real picky. I can jump on anything and have a fun day.
Yeah.
But if I was to race it, there wouldn't be a great deal I'd change. I might go a spring rate heavier just for when I'm really charging some stuff. But honestly, tyres as well, I'm not massive on FIM tyres.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's about the only thing really for me. Like, it's just an enjoyable bike to ride.
All right, so we're going to answer the last question, which is, who's this bike for? Like, who do you see buying this bike?
Anyone who's got the money.
Yeah.
It's funny, I spoke to a few people, and one person in particular, he sort of doesn't like me saying that, but for me, I think everyone can get away with this bike. It's got, if you're willing to ride it up a gear and you just want to cruise through the bush, it's fine. If you want to get out on the fire roads, it's gonna open up for you. And if you want to race Fink or Hatter, it's got a motor to do it. So I think it's very
versatile
bike. Yeah, that's the word. So.
Yeah, I think a lot of people will just assume, oh, it's a 500. You just ride that thing out at Fink or out in the desert. And for all our followers and listeners and readers and watchers that that are out west will buy these things. But like Briggsy said, they're so compliant nowadays, and they're so easy to ride that you could ride these things in single track if that's all you're riding most of the time. So anywhere you take a 354 straight, you'd probably be able to get through just as easy on this Sherco 500. So yeah, it's kind of more versatile than they used to be, and more versatile than you may think. Anyway, that's it for us on the 2026 Sherco 500 SEF Factory. We're going to come back to you later on. We do some more testing on the 300cc 4-stroke, so stay tuned.